psychologists I worked with said, it's like a matter of fact, this is the standard Freudian model, that love comes from the sexual instinct.
Yes.
And I thought, that didn't sound right to me.
Yes.
To me, it sounds like all these things come from something
Yes.
more basic.
So Freudian philosophy came at later on, and it was practical, so people accepted it, and it became a role model for psychiatrists. Okay, but Carl Jung later on, he brought much more spiritual aspect. So more and more spiritual aspect came. So what Freud was saying became secondary. So the fundamental thing is sex is inborn from childhood. Baby sucks mother's milk. That is starting point of sexuality. So in a way, his vision was right at that time, but in reality, sexuality and love are two different things. Actually, love is the main cause from which everything else springs up. Okay. So if sexuality brought the love, matter of fact, sexuality destroys love.
Could.
Yes. So sexuality is expression of love. But if you consider sexuality to starting point of love, then you are going in the wrong direction. Okay. So from spiritual standpoint, sexuality is energy, and preserving sexual energy takes one into some spiritual realm, that is sublimation of the energy. That is called brahmacharya. Ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. These are the 5 basic yamas, 5 basic restraints. Brahmacharya means preserving sexual energy, brahmacharya. But it is misunderstood. Brahmacharya means preserving sexual energy. In reality, in Yellow Book I have explained that more in detail. Brahma means supreme consciousness. Charya means going toward. So, going in direction of spirituality is brahmacharya. Sexual restraint is only secondary part. Okay. Also, for most people, sexual restraint means suppression, which is dangerous. And this is when Freudian philosophy works, because suppression is not good. What is they recommend is sublimation, transforming, and that requires restraining the diet, restraining the activities, and also breathing practices that sublimates energy, or doing selfless service, like so many people do selfless service, sublimate the energy. For average person, brahmacharya is impossible. So Freudian concept would work good, because people who are suppressing sexuality, they would get into problem. And for them, sexual expression would mean experiencing love, but it could be only a small part of it, really. So love is a real thing, sexuality is not the starting point, because sexuality usually comes from ego, suppression, controlling someone, okay, instead of giving in. So this is why Tantra Yoga came later on. Tantra Yoga is, sublimating energy, but they use sex as a means. But Tantra is more like a higher discipline, but people took Tantra Yoga as sexual yoga, and that is also a wrong concept. Okay, so this is my general thought. So spirituality is sublimation of energy, but for average person, expression of sexual energy should be all right if it is in moderation.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But what Freudian concept came, it was wrong, because Carl Jung and others brought out something much deeper spiritual aspect. Okay, good.
Couldn't sex be an expression of hate? I mean, because sex can come from anywhere. It doesn't have to be from love.
Yeah,
it might not even, you might not even like the person.
So this is why all the perverted forms of sex come in, because one wants to torture someone, anger and all this. So that is the expression. ego and hurting someone. So really sexuality is inevitable, see. So if you blame sexuality, then it is wrong. If you indulge into it, is wrong. If you suppress it, is wrong. So for average person is to live normal life. That would be the thing.
I remember years ago you had said that the sexual energy is like water, and the practice, discipline, yogic discipline is
That
like
is
heat.
what I put in the book.
And it
That
creates
is
steam.
what is said.
Oh, that's in
So
the book.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Sexual energy is like water, and pranayama is a fuel. So by doing more pranayama and controlling the prana, it boils the water. Okay. So if you don't have reservoir of energy and you do pranayama, then you can get hurt. Okay. If you have energy and you don't do it, then you cannot sublimate it. So this is how the comparison is. But this topic is out of reach for most people, and this is why all the religions recommend, the ministers have to celebrate, but they are at the level of suppression. They don't understand. And in living in the society like this, like what they are talking about,
That was the problem.
so general
Catholic
thing would be
priests that went
live
astray.
and just avoid indulgence.
Yeah.
General thing is for any kind of pleasures, like they consider pleasure of eating, pleasure of sex. Consider sex is the main pleasure for most people. So general statement I'm making is to get the maximum pleasure. Just get any pleasure you want to get. What do you need to do? It is a practical advice. Whatever you want to enjoy, you restrain from it. You enjoy more. Okay.
That's true.
The food, if you fast and don't have it, then you eat little food, you will enjoy it even if it's not fancy food. Restrain. Okay. Instead of doing unconsciously, do it consciously. So this is general advice. Restrain, enjoy it slowly with awareness, and from that you can learn to meditate. Doing any act which becomes compulsion, like I want to eat it, you rush into it unconsciously, then you get frustrated. Instead you do consciously, you can rise into a higher level of consciousness. You can get into meditation or meditative state.
But the certain monks and swamis, they practice celibacy for certain periods of time.
Yes.
It's another thing,
Yeah. See, here so many people, they say they are practicing. It's all show. In reality, it is a mental thing. It's just such a deeper mental thing. So you have to abstain from food. Just simplify the food, stay in seclusion, and get involved in social work or something that takes away your energy. So Mahatma Gandhi, all other great masters, they were so much involved in helping people. All their energy was utilized in serving. So, utilize the energy or sublimate it. They say all these things I consider more theory, but different techniques. You can sublimate sexual energy and refine it, and it is called ojas. I wrote in the books because this is theory. Ojas is energy which we see, external energy like muscular energy or other energy or mental energy. It becomes ojas. Ojas means refined energy is invisible, and then your head shines with it. You know what it is? It gives you aura. And this is why you see around Christ, around masters, they show aura. That is ojas. Ojas means all the energy is sublime and it glows on their face, through their eyes. That's called ojas. And this is what it is. And those who have more preserved energy, then they radiate it. Their presence is soothing. They radiate through their palms and fingertips. This is why it is used for healing.
Mhm.
Okay.
You see that
This
on
is-
some Christian pictures too, the light coming out of the palm.
Yes.
That's,
So,
seems
yeah.
to be everywhere.
but so many swamis write all the books and this. That's why I'm revolting against that. You know, we do this and do that, and they're all fictions. It's a fantasy. Hardly anyone does it. You know, they talk about Kundalini, and I challenge. I haven't met any Kundalini master. You know, things like that. And they say yoga cures everything and this and that. I'm doing yoga all my life. I'm doing all these things. I have some problems. So either I'm doing something wrong or they are wrong. You know, things. So this is why I came to conclude. Yoga is a science. You know, it's just law of karma. Just something you did. You pay for it. You know, it doesn't matter how much yoga you do. Also, you have inherited from previous life. You have genetics, you know, you have inherited because of your praskarma from your parents.